Thank you, Johnny Peraza, for coming on. I've known Johnny since I was 4 years old. I was knocking at his motel room door, asking to come in and play video games. So we have a lot of history. Thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here today.
No
Thanks.
problem. So Johnny is a great singer. I've always heard him just since going on tours, going on shows. So we're going to talk about that. So how has singing impacted your life?
It was the best thing I was given. Was the talent to sing and play the piano. It was a blessing for me. I don't know what else I would do.
Yeah.
So I was really lucky. When I was 15 or so, I knew I was going to play the piano and sing.
Yeah, that's the question that shocks a lot of people when I ask them. They're in the entertainment business. I'd say, what would you do if you weren't doing this? And they say, it's a really good question.
Is there something else?
Is there something else? Yeah, so you always felt that?
I always knew from even before when I was just a little guy, like 8 or 8. I started playing the piano because I loved it, but I knew then that I wanted to try to make a living.
Right.
So,
yeah,
which is hard in this business.
Yeah, doing something you love.
But yeah, it's been a great gift. And it's been also a very good gift knowing you, because you were just I think just this when I first. But you've always been a great guy, and I appreciate you having me on the program. Thanks.
No, I'm glad to have you.
Thanks, brother. Thanks.
So what is making it, in your opinion, in the music business?
There's so many levels of making it. Superstars and,
right.
I think when success is that you're able to do your art, your craft, and make enough money so you can eat and have a home and do your thing. Yeah, that's success.
Yeah. But, for some people, it's the money and the cars and everything. But for a lot of people, it's just to do what you love and make a living and have your life. And
it's amazing to me how many people we encounter on the road, and you ask them about their work and what do you do? And I hate it. I hate going to the office, or I hate going to wherever. I don't ever hate. I love going to work. I love to play and sing.
Yeah. I love this quote. It's saying, you don't go to the top of the mountain so everybody can see you. You go to the top of the mountain so you can see everybody.
That's a great quote. That's so true. So
it really
true.
Is.
Yeah, it really is.
That connected me. So what do you need to have to make it in the music business?
You have to have drive.
Really, yeah.
You really have to have drive. You can't be a lazy person. It's a lot of work because you're always honing your craft and doing something.
But it's a lot better than 9 to 5.
Oh, it's a lot better than 9 to 5.
Right.
But there are days it's not always great. There's days maybe you don't feel like smiling, or like in your dad's case, maybe he doesn't feel like making people laugh, but he still goes out and makes people laugh. It's rare when you're not in the mood. But it's like anything else, I guess.
And I was going to say, what are the struggles of really doing it, of singing and putting yourself out there?
You know what? There's that frustration of meeting people who hear you perform and go, oh, why aren't you on such and such show? Or, we should have heard of you. That's frustrating. It's hard for me to not defend it, but go, well, I have been around a long time. I just maybe wasn't on the, the Fallon show or something.
Yeah, so. And I don't know. To me, since I've been around Dad's show a lot, a lot of it's the structure of the simple conversation, which is, hey, how are you? How are your kids? How are your wife? Everything. Yeah. And doesn't that get old? After 40 years? For some people it doesn't because it's new people, but, that's part of the entertainment business.
Yeah, usually when you meet someone, there's always some thing you could take away from the conversation.
Something you can learn.
Yeah, you learn something from them, which is always great. And then you always run into other performers, and you can see what they do and maybe take part of what they do, or make it into part of your act too. So not steal, you know what I mean, but just little things that help.
Yeah. Do you think you kind of have to be like an extrovert if you know that? Yeah, to make it. 'Cause, I don't know. In my opinion, I have mixed emotions because, especially in, I don't know, I think it's changing where the internet, and there's a lot, you don't have to have that structured conversation in a lot of genres because you can just go out there and do their things. And so there's a lot of rappers, there's a lot of singers now that are introverts, and they just stay to themselves. But, the people that I've been around, and the people that I've been around Dad, they're all extroverts, they're all doing their thing.
They do, yeah. But it is true. You could create your act in the studio, so you're not in, like you said, in the public. You're not gigging every night. Like we used to have to go to work in clubs that were horrible.
Right, and that's just how much it's changed.
Changed everything. a lot.
So what's the difference for you between an artist and a singer or a rapper, anybody? Difference between an artist and...
An artist is someone who can get on stage and, in my opinion, take the audience on a little adventure. You know how you can grab them and take them away, even if it's only for a couple of minutes. I think that's an artist. Anybody, almost anybody, can get up and sing, or get up and play the drums or play the piano, which is a great thing to be able to do. But if you could grab, the audience and take them away for a little bit, I think that's an artist. I think.
Yeah, definitely. And then, so how did you know that you had a singing voice? I mean, were you just young and you just started singing Happy Birthday? And you just...
The singing came later. I was always just a piano player. My parents were very religious, so I had to learn in church. And they were Pentecostal type Baptists, whatever they were. So I learned in church. But in church there's a lot of young people too, so I was around my peers, and that's really how I began. But just piano. And one day someone asked me to sing a song. I don't remember now what it was. I think we have a tape of it somewhere, when I was like your age. And someone said, "Oh, yeah, can you sing such and such gospel song?" So I did it, and it felt great. I went, wow, I want to be a singer now, too. So,
and something just clicked, and you're like, yeah, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, it was fun. It really was fun.
And I understood today that there was a point in time where you worked for Donald Trump.
I did. I worked in the Atlantic City casinos. It was a big place to get a lot of work. It wasn't like famous work, but it was steady work where you could make $4,000 or $5,000 a week, whatever it was. And I was playing at Mr. Trump's casino. And there was another casino next door called the Showboat at the time. So I left his casino and went to work for the other place. And this is a real short story, but it's weird. Apparently, they have things called high rollers, these big gamblers who come in.
And Donald Trump.
Right. This high roller and his wife came to Harrah's, Trump Plaza, to see me. And I was next door at the Showboat. So the wife came into the show and said, "Oh, where's Johnny?" And somebody said, "Oh, he's next door at the Showboat." So she got the husband and said, "Let's move to the Showboat." So he went to they called it the cage, and took out his thousands of dollars, checked out of the hotel, and moved into the Showboat. Well, when Trump heard about this, he went nuts. So he offered me an exclusive job just to work for him in Atlantic City, which was really cool. All by accident,
Really? That's a really cool story.
It's a great story. It really is. So I got to do some of their private parties. They had a yacht up there, and I would play the piano for them. And so
but you never really heard any of his politics back then?
Not then. Not then. I didn't know him like I know you. But I knew him as Mr. Trump, and he would come to the shows, and his wife, and they were very nice to me. Of course, years later, now he's doing what the heck he's doing now, which is
whatever he's doing.
Weird, but...
And also I've heard that you've been on many big shows. What shows have you been on besides the guest room?
Long time ago, besides this great show, there were television shows that were, oh God, Josh, I don't even know what years they were. There was a guy named Merv Griffin. He used to have like a talk show, like Jimmy Fallon kind of show.
Right.
And I got on his show, and from that show I did another show called Dance Fever. It was a disco dancing show, which was really, at the time, was very great, but now it's great forever. There used to be another guy, Mike Douglas. Remember Mike Douglas? This is going back a long time. So I got to do those national shows, and so I got to deal with Polydor Records, and we released our album, and it was fun. It was a nice try. We didn't make it. We didn't get a big hit out of it. So, but
It's what it is. I mean, you did your thing though, and
I did. I was really lucky. I got to eat, and I was never homeless or anything, and it all because of music.
Yeah, right. So, well. Thank you for being on. You're still going to be on, but in this next segment, I'm going to bring my dad on, and we're going to talk about the world. So, thank you.
Are you ready to get glazed? It's time to get glazed with Dan Glazer and friends at Jerry Farber's Side Door Hour, featuring comics on parole open mouth every Wednesday night at 9:30 at Jerry Farber's Side Door at 3652 Roswell Road, Atlanta, Georgia. $5 admission, which includes free wings and sandwiches. So join us for a mouthful of laughter at Jerry Farber's Side Door at 3652 Roswell Road, Atlanta, Georgia. Give him a call, 770-738-3000. That's 770-738-3000. Or visit him on the web at www.jerryfarberssidedoor.com.
I want to give a little shout out to Jerry Farber's Side Door. We have an open mouth at Jerry Farber's Side Door every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. It's a $5 door fee, but you get all the chicken wings you want to eat, all the sandwiches, and some stage time. So come out to Jerry Farber's Side Door. Also, let's give a shout out to all the other great open mics like Laughing Skull, The Basement, Improv, Bonkers, and there's many more. So have a good time on an open mic and go out and enjoy yourself.
Welcome back to the guest room. The great Johnny Peraza is on, and my father, Jerry.
I love your hair.
Al. Thank you, Al.
Look at your hair.
Thank
I
you.
love it. I knew you when you were bald. I've just got to say first. Can I say first?
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on your show.
Oh,
I
you
get
are?
such a kick out of time. My kids got the show. Because my kids, people that don't see you, still think you're eight years old. You know? But when you were 4, and Johnny and I were on the road, and by the way, I loved the moments with Johnny talking about what he said, what it takes to be an artist. And I think passion has a lot to do with, once you realize you might have the skill, if you don't drive it with passion, especially in today's public, I don't think it can work. And Johnny has it when has that when he
people
sings.
could sense it.
They
think.
sense
they
that.
Can tell
That's
if
what
you're
they take.
insincere or if you're phony. Or,
You're not going through the motions.
Right.
And I think it's true when you and I go to see an athlete, from LeBron back to Michael and George Gervin before him, those people who stood out. There were plenty of good people, but when they stood out, they became the ones because they didn't just shoot extra. They had passion for the game. Meanwhile,
in my opinion, those people are even artists. The basketball players are artists.
Oh, no, they're
definitely artists.
At that level, they are
yeah,
artists.
they've got the skill, but they're driven.
They're
driven.
I just want Al. Did you give Al a shout out?
Yeah, I give
Al. Okay, Al's the producer of the show. And I want Al to hear this because when you were born, we started taking you to St. Augustine, Johnny and I, because we worked there every year.
Right, yeah.
And you were 4 years old and we staying at St. Augustine Beach. Al and Johnny would stay up late, so therefore we'd get up late, 12 or 1, and the next day.
Musician hours.
And so Johnny would get up. I'd hear him getting up, like at 7 in the morning, and going over outside to knock on the next door at the motel, which was Johnny's room. I'd hear him knocking on the door. And Johnny would say, "Who is it?" And Josh would say, "Is this Mr. Porrazzo?" Didn't say Porrazzo. Porrazzo. He said, "Can I watch the Johnny? What was it you had in the room that he watched it?"
I had a laptop.
A laptop. I've never gotten. I've heard good things about it. Are they still good things to have for the young people?
For everybody.
Anyway, I'm really proud of you, Josh.
Thank you.
Same here.
How you do.
Same here.
Thank you.
Same
Love
here.
you guys.
Oh, I love you
what
too.
A guy. I have to tell you real quick, we were at the St. Augustine gig. Jerry was on stage and I was back at the record table with Joshua, just hanging out while his dad was working. And it came to be my turn to go on stage, so I went up to the stage and Jerry left the stage, and I could see there was some commotion backstage or in the audience, and they couldn't find Joshua. He was gone. Everybody was going crazy, and the little guy had somehow got up to the stage and got underneath my piano and was sitting under the piano just chilling, enjoying the show. Hanging out. It was great. There you were.
Like me. Yeah.
It was great. So we love it.
There was a miniature golf place across the street, remember? And I ran over there because we had played miniature golf, right? And I thought maybe you'd walk back across that busy street.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Anyway, you're a blessing. And Johnny, being my closest friend in life, has been a dear friend. And I've always liked to say, I was telling Al, asking me who you were, I said, there's nothing I wouldn't do for Johnny Peraza.
Oh, there's nothing. I
And
wouldn't
nothing
do for
you wouldn't do for me. And that's our, we've done nothing.
Oh.
I mean, it's nothing I wouldn't do.
You got
It's a joke.
it. Yeah.
Did you get it, folks? That's it.
Yeah, I got it for the 100.
Gosh, who's counting?
Hey, that's shortcutting it too. I'm kidding, but
You know what they say, that if you like to read books, you'll never be alone, right? Read it. And if you love your work, like Johnny said, there will be bad days, rain, snow, getting there, you don't want to go to the first place. But if you love it, you might not like every day, but you'll love it.
Right.
And the thing about with people, it's nicer, the introvert, because I think you think you're an introvert.
Oh, no, not.
I don't think you're an introvert. I think you're just a lovely young guy
Ambivert.
that you're feeling your way. You're a youngster still, right? Mm-hmm. But it's nicer if you like people, if you're performing for people. And when I see these stars and they push people away, I'm not going to sign your autograph, I'm not going to do that. They ought to be grateful on their knees and thank the universe that they're making $20 million a year.
Yeah, those people are paying for their mansions.
Definitely.
And when they don't, I'm already through with them, no matter what the art is. Because and it's not about being an artist, it's about being a civil, lovely human, right, and grateful.
And it's a lot. Art is a lot about changing people's lives, and just a small part, making their night better, making them laugh,
the day better,
making they change their attitudes, making them think a little bit more than they would before. And
now, if you don't mind, I want to ask you. I've known you all your life. How is it that you think you've evolved to this level already in your life? I mean, I've seen you in social situations with like a lot of our friends, musicians, comedy friends, show business people. And you're able to have a conversation with them. You're not an introvert. I mean, you're engaging. How do you think that happened?
Well, it wouldn't be possible without my dad. I mean, I've been put in a situation since a really young age with people, so I know how to talk in front of people. I know how to engage in conversation, and I think that'll help me in my career. And
you're halfway there with that. That's a lot for you to have. Already.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome, man. Just wanted to put that out there.
Good question, a good response. I do want to say, as the dean of men here, age-wise for sure, is that the younger people, my mother used to say this when I would act crazy and mean and have that streak, and my mother would say, all of you young people, if you could be 80 years of age, and not doing well, and maybe facing the end of your life, but if you could be for 1 week, the world would be automatically sweeter. Do you know why? Because then when you're young and it's a short ride to begin with, right? Not just our singing and playing and telling jokes, but it's all a short. And when you're getting there, all you want to do is be sweet and lovely. Not to impress people, but the natural feeling is you're grateful for life. And you want to be nice and hello. And when we perform, and many times, Johnny particularly, he reaches these people because people go to clubs, somebody in their family dying of an illness, somebody's lost a home, they may have lost a pet that they love, so they come out to see entertainment to get away for that hour, not just to hear Elton or Justin, whoever the artists are, to sing their song.
Yeah.
They get out, and if we reach them, that's a lovely thing.
And another thing I want to add about being an artist is that, I think, in my opinion, you're an artist when you sleep and you're thinking about whatever you're doing. You wake up, you're thinking about what you're doing.
Good for you. It's in your blood.
There's times where it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, I have to go to sleep, and I think of like an idea just running through my mind, and I'm like, I got to write that down.
Yeah.
And that's just, it turned into a routine. So, I mean, that's how I feel. If you don't know, it's my music that I'm talking about. But
I know.
It's that discipline
definitely discipline is another thing.
And you know what, too, being open to do that. I'm going to get up at 3 o'clock and write this idea down. That's I'm sure where most huge hits have been written, or not even huge hits. Great songs have been written that way, I'm sure. Great comedy bits, I
think the bits are really inspiring. By the way, you didn't shave today. Look at you. Can't believe you're getting it. Look, folks, can you see? He's got a little beard, a mustache. Good for you. No, I love that.
Yeah. I grew it myself.
You see?
Listen, let me do the show. So, Josh, we were talking earlier about the presidents. I think there are 21 candidates. I don't ever remember that all my years.
It's crazy right now.
Add Kanye West to 2020.
Yeah, he's going to be right. That's all we need, right?
Yeah, and I'm just getting such a kick out of Trump. For the comedians that are on television, such a field day. Having fun with Trump.
It's a lot of work for you. Yeah, you guys, you have something to draw from with this guy.
Well, somebody said, I'm going to mention the name of the guy who said it, was Will Rogers, who was, at the time of his life, was a combination of, and this was over 100 years ago, of Richard Pryor and Adam Sandler, and Jon Stewart. He was a brilliant humor philosopher. And what he said was, and he didn't like politicians, and his most famous quote was, I was in college when I read Will Rogers, was that he said it about politicians, some in particular, but the names aren't important now, but his quote was, everybody's equally stupid in different areas.
Yeah.
And I would say it relating to Don Trump now, I would say it, is that the things he says, I think what it would show, I would change the quote around to say, just because you have money doesn't mean you really know what to do. Because he's just almost purposely being offensive to humans he doesn't even know them, right? Just offensive as a human. Mm-hmm. And he could be the opposite. He could be a life changer.
I agree, but you know what? I think in his heart, Jerry, in his heart of heart, he knows that when he makes those remarks, he's going to be on every news channel, every newspaper, right?
You're absolutely right.
So, yeah.
But even that, to get that angle, to play that angle when you've got $11 billion, that's sort of unholy.
It's shameful.
Right? Just,
it is.
Just to be on TV, to be saying these things, and hurting the party in the process, which I don't think he even is in that party. I think he's for himself.
Yeah.
And I admire success. I mean, anybody who can do that is certainly knows something about business.
Right, definitely.
Successful guy, but politics.
Josh, do you have any interest in politics?
I like the idea of changing people's minds, but not the American politics. But you know what I mean.
Changing their mind for what reason?
Changing their mind. Well, I think politics can be expanded. Like, I think an artist can be a politician. Not a politician, but as in he can spread his ideas. So more like an activist, I guess. But
it can be sweeter when a music artist does it, because they're not preaching. It's just if you get the message of a song, like Bob Dylan's Blowing in the Wind, millions of young people were transformed from some of Dylan's poetry songs.
Right, definitely, yeah.
And I imagine hip-hop, which I've learned more about from you, and a movie. Can we promote a movie, Al? Are we allowed to promote a movie called Leaving Compton?
Straight Outta Compton?
Straight Outta Compton. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen. I went 3 times to see this movie. It's about how the artists were Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, Eazy-E, but more important about how that music was born from such a rugged place. Like a lot of art is born from rugged places.
Yeah, and you said earlier you could compare it to the Jews from the Holocaust and how it's like a whole music, just a whole pain. And
Israel was born not out of comfort. It wasn't a group of people in West Palm Beach saying, let's get our Jewish friend, we'll go to a nice place in the Middle East. It was born, in 1946. Israel's been here not that long. Since 1946 is when Israel, and then they had a war right away with 6 Arab countries. And I'm not nearly a big fan of all their politics in Israel, but everybody's going to have a place to live, and it's up to everybody to make it work.
Yeah.
The Indians right here in America, we don't have to go anywhere out of this country to know how bad the Indians were treated here.
Oh yeah, definitely. So persecution equals execution. And but I want to give a shout out to Gail for helping me book a festival, which is the October the 24th. I'm going to promote a festival. Sorry guys, but it's a festival. The 24th. It's called the Aloia Festival. I'm going to be performing there with the guy from last episode, Graham Trillikid, and we're going to do our thing. Hopefully everybody can come out. There'll be more details next show. And but I just want to thank her for that. Because as the artist, all I want to do is reach out to other people and just, get my career started. And I think she, by the grace of God, by the grace of Allah, by the grace of people, whatever you believe in, it's just the circumstances are coming together, and I just want to thank Gail.
I want to thank Gail, too.
Gail Tassel of Acuity Entertainment.
Yes, and recently, it was last week when we were all at Johnny's house, and Gail mentioned to Josh, she took a liking to Josh's face and persona. I said, "Oh, you're putting on is it a rap concert or a music?
It's a festival. It's just
a festival. Yeah. Okay." And how excited! I've never seen you that excited. Really.
It's going to be a fun time.
Except when you met Penelope Cruz. No, Cameron Diaz, whoever it was.
Cameron Diaz.
Next to that, you're the most excited I've ever seen. All right, so listen, I love you do the show. I hope you continue.
Yes.
And if you don't, if you're 15, you're going to do a lot. You've got a big life in front of you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm glad you picked me to be your dad. And Johnny to be your stepdad.
I'll take it.
Not stepdad.
I'll take stepdad. The Godfather. I'll take all that.
You've got good Godfather.
I'll take
but
it.
Johnny is the king of the hill.
King of the hill.
And Al, thank you again, the producer, off camera.
Thanks,
helps
Al.
keep this together like a good quarterback.
Like a great quarterback.
Yeah. And maybe we'll see some of the people who watch the show at the Georgia Tech North Carolina game next, Grant Field next Saturday.
Yeah. Well, this has been the guest room. Thank you both for coming out here, supporting me. Just your family to me. Well, yeah, your family, but your your extended family. So thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Al. Thank you, everybody watching.
Dan.
And Johnny, is there any way these people can reach out to you?
Oh, if they want, yes. It's I have a website. It's johnnyperazzo.com. It's Johnny, like regular Johnny, and the last name is Porrazzo. Maybe they'll put it up in a little thing over. But yeah, shout out. It'd be nice to hear from you.
Yeah. So thank you all for watching. Want to thank everybody again.
Take care.
Peace.
Thanks.